Jimmy Butler suspended. Nikola Jovic is suspended. Najee Marshall suspended. A bunch of people are out. Josh Richardson's out. Terry Rozier's still out. This is the zombiest heat of the zombie heat. You've got 2 plays in this game. Let's start with Malik Monk over 16.5 points.
Yeah, this is the more straightforward of the two. So he's one of those players that he is streaky, and it's that's hard to keep track of if you're a book. But he's in a hot streak right now. He's averaging 20.4 in his last 9 games. He's cleared this number in 8 of those last 9 games. He's also streaking in terms of usage and minutes as well. So he's on an upward trend in terms of minutes and usage right now. I think they really like to, when he is hot, keep riding that hot hand. This is also a back-to-back for them. And one thing I noticed is that his minutes go pretty notably up in back-to-backs this season. He goes up from 25.9 overall to 30.4 in back-to-backs. And it makes sense. He is a bench player. You want to rely on your bench maybe a little bit more in those back-to-backs. He has more of a potential ceiling to add on to those minutes. Whereas, the main starters who are maybe going to be a little bit more tired on back-to-back, you're going to rely on them a little bit less. So adding together that he's in a great heater right now. Back-to-backs typically mean more minutes and more points for Monk. And that this is a Heat team that, this could go many different ways. This game could be close. And I actually kind of lean towards taking the points with the Heat with you. That's like zombie Heat is like a classic, take the points with them. But if this gets out of hand, Monk, he can get minutes with the mop-up unit as well. So he's a little bit more, script proof than some of the other guys in this game. So add that all together, and I'm on Malik Monk over 16.5 points.
Yeah, I like it. I think Monk, is actually, he's moved to the favorite for 6th man of the year. I actually think that's appropriate in a market that we've never been able to crack this year. We just haven't been able, we've given out like so many guys, and we're just like, I don't know. I think he is probably gaining momentum. Now, I will say, like, usually the books are not basing that off of anything like substantive. It's just kind of like an estimation of where the market could be at, or where there's been movement in terms of handle. But I do think it's kind of interesting there. It does seem like it's a pretty good matchup for them with so many injuries for the Heat. The Kings will probably try and make this more of an offensive game because they're on a second night of a back-to-back. That does lead me to, I'll take Heat plus 7.5 here. Look, the Kings are 3-5 ATS on the second night of a back-to-back, and this is going to be such a huge letdown spot. They're facing the Clippers on Sunday night as we're recording this, and then they have a back-to-back at home. It's a good spot at home on a back-to-back for sure after the All-Star break, but this is such a huge letdown spot. Like, you're going to look across there and be like, okay, no Jimmy, like no Rozier, there's no Kyle Lowry anymore. Like, they are just not, this is not the same kind of team that you kind of expect. And so I do think that's like going to have to be part of the equation here for what this looks like for them. I'll also say that as I'm looking this up right now, the Kings at home this season, when they are versus a team that is under 500, and you say the Heat are not under 500, no, but this is a team that would project to be under 500
equivalent.
If you look at how where they got with the rest of the roster. The Kings are actually 5-8 ATS this season at home versus teams under 500. So if it's the win profile, I have this projected actually with the Kings as a very, 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 very slight dog. If both teams were fully healthy, and there's no way for me to get to 7.5 with the guys that are out. I can't take, even with if you add up all the Heat players that are out, none of those guys matter enough to be able to get me to a 7.5. So I'll go ahead and I'll take it, and I'll just trust in the zombie Heat to hang within the number and somehow backdoor this. Jim, let's hit your other one really quickly, because I know Joe's got some thoughts on it as well. You like Caleb Martin over points, rebounds, and assists. What's the cap on it?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of this is that it is a zombie Heat team. Tyler Hero picked up an injury last game. He's questionable. Terry Rozier is questionable. There's a possibility he comes back. If he does come back, I see it as a minutes limit. The bigger thing to me is Hero. I really want to wait to see if Hero is officially in or out. I'm going to probably like the Martin play regardless with Butler out and Rozier on a likely minutes limit.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that I don't bet this, then hear that that Rozier is back, and then or Hero is back or something. Wait on this, you're going to be fine. Because to give a little context to Caleb Martin and how big his usage swings can be. Last time Hero was out for a while, Martin had a 6-game stretch where he was in the starting lineup. Those are the only 6 that he got starts in. He's likely to get a start in this one. He averaged 17 points, 8.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists. Those are massively above what he's averaging for the season as a whole. I really don't think the books are going to be able to hang a number that is likely to match the the usage and field goal attempts that he is going to get in this game with a zombie heat lineup. If all these guys are out, they might hang a pretty high number, but then that's even more usage in points and field goal attempts out there for Martin. So I think this is one where, you can't blindly give it out. I definitely want to see. Maybe they're really onto it and they cracked the code and they figured out Caleb Martin. But in all likelihood, this is going to be a number that I'm really liking with the matchup, fast-paced Kings, and also just a zombie heat lineup that is really going to have a lot of opportunities available for Martin, a player whose usage swings greatly based on who is in or out for the Heat.
Relatively quiet season for the
really quiet
the Eastern Conference Finals MVP runner-up. So maybe this is his time, much like Jimmy Butler. Maybe he's just got that by osmosis, and it's his time. Brian Fonseca was telling us about how to take Jimmy props this time of the year. Can't do that in this game, obviously, because, well, Jimmy decided to get into a fracas. Joe, I know you like this play as well. Do you have anything to add on that one?
Yeah, just, like if all these other guys are out, when Caleb Martin's played 30 or more minutes, so he's done that in 14 games this season, he's averaging 14.8 points per game. You'll probably get this pop around like whenever we see some lineups and some injury updates. So you're going to want to turn on like your notifications probably for like Fantasy Labs, keep us like in the Action app, Twitter, or on X as well. Those are definitely looks. And I just was while I was listening to you, I was thinking of another play that I did want to touch on real quick from the same game. I am probably going to be looking to take a Keegan Murray points prop. His home road splits are crazy. This game is at home. He's scoring 18 points per game at home compared to like 12 on the road. And he has torched Miami in a couple games. So he's played 3 games against Miami. He scored in the one game that he played this year, 33 points in 38 minutes. He had another game of 7, but that was in Miami. And then the prior game was back in late 2022. He had 22 points at home against Miami. So it's definitely an angle that I'll be looking at, considering Miami gives up like the 3rd or 4th most 3-point attempts in the league. And that's a spot Keegan Murray could take advantage of.